UFC London was officially announced yesterday. Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy are going to be fighting almost for sure to decide who is Alexander Volkanovski's next opponent. And I'm not mad about this main event. This is a cool main event, but the card as a whole is absolutely disgraceful. I mean, this is basically a Cage Warriors card. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about what's next for Volk, and we're going to take a look at this card as a whole. So stick around to hear my thoughts on UFC London. My name is Wyatt. Welcome to Fight Society. All right, guys, so before we get into the video, do me a huge favor, like and subscribe down below. And if you're watching on your phone, swipe left on the comment section and hit that hype button for me as well. But without further ado, let's get into the video because UFC London has been announced. Let's get into the main event first, then we'll talk about the rest of the card. But the main event is by far the most important fight that there is at UFC London. We have Movsar Evloev, the #1 ranked featherweight, undefeated, going up against Lerone Murphy, also undefeated, coming off of his crazy spinning elbow knockout against Aaron Pico at UFC 319. Now, this is going to be the first time that we've seen Movsar Evloev in action since December of 2024 at UFC 310, where he beat Aljamain Sterling. And if you look at his career, he's had 20 fights booked in the UFC, and he only has 9 fights that have actually taken place. So that's 11 canceled fights. 5 of them were him pulling out. 6 of them were his opponent pulling out, which is crazy considering how much he's pulled out, that he's actually had more opponents pull out against him than him pull out against them. And if you look, he was supposed to fight Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico ended up fighting Lerone Murphy and getting KO'd. I guess that didn't do a whole lot for Lerone Murphy's career because here he is having to fight in a #1 contenders fight anyway. But before that, Aljamain Sterling win. Before that, Aljamain Sterling canceled fight, then Arnold Allen. He should have lost the Arnold Allen fight, canceled fight with Bryce Mitchell. And then the Diego Lopez fight was on like 4 days notice when Bryce Mitchell pulled out, I believe. Nearly got knee barred in the 3rd round. Dan Ige, and then a canceled fight with Ilya. We could have seen him lose his 0 a long time ago, but Movsar pulled out. And then he's also beaten Hakeem Dawodu, Nick Lentz, Mike Grundy, Sungwoo Choi, and Jamal Emmers. He was supposed to fight Nate Landwehr. He was supposed, actually, if you look at it, his toughest opponents have been canceled, in my opinion, like matchup wise for him. Nate Landwehr, not the best grappler, but Nate the Train, dude, gets in your face, makes it ugly. Nate could have been a problem for Movsar, especially when Movsar was and he was still wrestling heavy, but even back then, his striking was not developed. Ilya Topuria would have sparked him out cold easy. He honestly, in my opinion, dodged Bryce Mitchell because Bryce Mitchell is a great grappler. He could have given Movsar some problems as well. And then of course the Aljo fight got canceled, but they ended up fighting and he won. So crazy enough. Wow, this comment's crazy. 0 finishes and 1 spouse under the age of 17 in that timeline. That is crazy. But Alexander Volkanovski, since his win on Saturday night / Sunday morning in Australia, has commented on who his next title fight is.
Obviously, just probably, trying to get his name out there. I don't know, because he's actually not a bad guy. I met him, where did I meet him? In Miami. Yeah, in Miami. And we got along, we're pretty good. I thought
he's talking about Gene Silva.
Pretty nice guy. But now, only saying a couple of things. I don't know if he really is upset with the roofie thing. I don't know if that's an actual thing or that's just people taking that way out of context. But now he's like saying some stuff and thinking that he really deserves next. If the UFC obviously were to push that for me, everyone knows me, I'll fight anyone. But I don't think that's very likely to happen, right? Like, I don't think he'd be in a position to be able to fight for the title, especially when you've got Lerone Murphy and Movsar fighting very, very soon. So I think that's pretty clear. But Silva's definitely there. A win over Arnold definitely got him back in a position where he's not far off. I think one more fight, another top guy to fight, and he's right there. So, yeah, he's not too far away. Silva.
Of course, Gene Silva's tried to throw his name in the mix, and I even said that they're going to do Volk versus Gene Silva because Movsar versus Lerone happens very soon, but it's still 7, 8 weeks away, 6, 7, 8 weeks away. So that's a training camp, basically. 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, something like that. That's a training camp. Volk is going to rest, and then he's going to be back in camp in like a month. So Volk's going to be ready to go probably in May or June. No, there's no way that one of these guys between Movsar and Lerone Murphy turns around like 7 weeks after beating, unless it's like a very quick KO, like Lerone Murphy spinning elbows Movsar as well, or Movsar wins, wrestle decision, doesn't take any damage, and they just don't want him to fight for the belt. But either way, they're going to have to turn around fast if they want to fight Volk on the UFC's timeline, because we've talked about the White House card is really, really going to put a lot of pressure on the other cards for that summer, or for this summer. And so Alexander Volkanovski probably has to turn around and fight in May. Very, very latest, I think July. I don't know if Movsar or Lerone Murphy is going to turn around on 2 months or 4 months, even with how inactive some of these guys are, to fight Alexander Volkanovski. Gene Silva just fought the week before. I actually have a feeling that they're going to do either Volk sits out for a while, which I highly, highly doubt. Volk sits out for a while till like near the end of the year. And in the meantime, they do Movsar, Lerone, and they do Aljo versus Gene Silva. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think if you look at the rankings, especially at featherweight, what's probably going to happen is we're probably going to, so we already have Movsar and Lerone Murphy. We're probably Diego Lopez sitting out for a while because he took a lot of damage. And I think like International Fight Week, possibly, we get Yair and Aljo. I think we get, yeah, this is what's going to happen, guys. Diego's going to sit out for a while. We already have Movsar and Lerone booked for March. They're going to do Aljo and Yair as a fight night main event or a pay-per-view main card. Maybe Miami in April. It's still over 2 months away. Maybe the May card where you do Volk versus Gene Silva in May, and then you have Yair and Aljo on the same card. We'll have to see, but I think that the winner of Movsar and Lerone Murphy fights for the belt in their next fight, but I don't think that they are Volk's next opponent. I'm honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Aljo or Gene Silva getting straight into a title shot, or those guys fighting each other and getting a title fight before Movsar or Lerone. We'll have to see, but Volk, I think, is going to have 3 fights this year. I think he fights, or he already fought Diego. Then he's going to fight the winner of Lerone Murphy and Movsar, either first or second in his next fight, like his next fight or the fight after that. And then in the meantime, he's going to fight either Gene Silva or Aljo, and then we probably get Volk retiring near the end of the year. And then early next year, a vacant featherweight title fight. Likely, that's what I think happens. That's what we have with the main event. But we got to take a look at the rest of this card, because holy shit, why the hell is Luke Riley in... This is the main card right here. Why the hell? Like, let's look at the UFC website. Let's see how they have this card organized. Let's see how the UFC has this card organized. Oh, so they move some stuff around. Theirs is really weird. What the hell? Michael Venom Page isn't even on here? They don't even have Michael Venom Page on here. And then they have Luke Riley all the way. What's going on, dude? $7 billion company, and they can't get their website figured out? I mean, for fuck's sake. Oh my God, now I got an ad right here and another ad. Oh my God, oh my God. Anyways, here we have the London card, and this is what Tapology has. They have Movsar Lerone, and this is based off of the UFC's post. They have Movsar Lerone main event, 19-0 against 17-0-1. Sick fight. Luke Riley, based off the UFC's post. Luke Riley, Michael Aswell, co-main event. Above Roman Dolidze, who's a top 10 or 11 middleweight, against a rising British or English star in Christian Leroy Duncan. Why is this the co-main event? We also have a very notable guy. I mean, he's not great, but moving down from heavyweight, Austin Lane, I have no idea how he's going to make heavyweight. Or light heavyweight coming down. He's already a huge heavyweight. But he's going up against this blockhead Barnowski, who just had that crazy fight on the Peter Yan Marab card with Ibo Aslan. Luke Riley, I understand main card because he's a recognizable name in the UK, but you have the number 67 ranked featherweight in the world and the number 55 ranked featherweight in the world as the co-main event when you have a top 10 guy in the world, not as the co-main event. And then you got Michael Venom Page, just doing like random side quests at this point. He gets into the top 8 after beating Jared Cannonier at middleweight. Tapology has him at 14 at middleweight. They just pull him out of those rankings. He's literally, if you look at the UFC rankings, let me go to the UFC rankings real quick. If you go to the UFC rankings, they dropped him from the middleweight rankings. He was number 8. And now you got DeRitter, Whitaker, Cannonier, who he beat. Dolidze, Costa, Rodriguez, Pfeiffer, Ferreira. They dropped him, and then they randomly, because they pulled Shavkat, I made a video about this earlier today, they pull Shavkat from the rankings and throw MVP at number 15. And now he's defending that ranked spot at welterweight against Sam Patterson, bro. Remember Sam Patterson was at 155, and he got damn near killed by Yanalash Moose. You guys remember that? He was trying to fight Mark Goddard. He was trying to fight Mark Goddard. After the fight, he didn't even know he got KO'd. It was really crazy. But so here we have, this is on the prelims. This should be a co-main event. If we're not going to have Roman Dolidze, a ranked guy, I mean, this would be a shit co-main event anyway, but dude, put Michael Venom Page in the co-main event. Then you got Luke Riley down 2 behind the Dolidze CLD fight. And then this opens the main card. That's sick. And then Mason Jones, Axel Sola, very good fight. Nathaniel Wood, Losine Kita. How is that this far on the card? Like, we look at the UFC's post and they have Nathaniel Wood and Losine Kita. Nathaniel Wood, very recognizable in the UK. And honestly, just very recognizable by the UFC fan base. Going up against Losine Kita, who is either a KSW champ or an Octagon champ. He's very good. He was supposed to fight Patricio Pitbull and he missed weight in Paris in September. And now he's fighting Nathaniel Wood, which is crazy. I thought they were going to cut him. But this is a bitch and a half of a matchup for Nathaniel Wood because Losine Kita's really, really good. And this is on the prelims. But then you got Curtis Campbell and Danny Silva and Luke Riley, Michael Aswell on the main card when you should have Nathaniel Wood, Losine Kita on the main card. Mick Parkin, Mario Pinto is a good fight with a ranking as well. That should be on the main card. Jeez, man, why did they... This is essentially a Cage Warriors card with a UFC ranked fight on top of it. I mean, Michael Venom Page was Bellator forever and then BKFC for a moment before the UFC. Roman Dolidze, he's just off with JP Baez's wife, Diane Velismus, just doing whatever, having kids and shit over in Romania or Georgia, wherever he's from, and not winning fights. I mean, remember he got his ass beat by Anthony Hernandez? I'm pretty sure that's the last time we saw him. It was like August. We got, oh my God, what's going on? We got Antonio Tricoli, higher than a ranked heavyweight. I know heavyweights suck, but Shamrock's all the way down here. Antonio Tricoli is Mackenzie Dern's ex-boyfriend. He's 0-3 in the UFC, all of them by finish. He's literally a walking punching bag. He himself says that he is not a UFC fighter. He considers himself a poker player that fights MMA. You're in the UFC, bro, and this is your side hustle. This isn't even your real job. Like, what are we fucking talking about here? Get him out of the UFC, and you got him higher than a ranked Mick Parkin. You got him right up there with Losine Kita and Nathaniel Wood. So the way that they're putting this card together is crazy. I mean, a lot of local talent. You see a lot of British flags on here, which I don't have any problem with. And then you got like Wales and Germany. I think that's Germany. Lithuania, I think this one is. So you got a lot of European people on the card. Not complaining about that at all. You should do local talent when you go to, when you do these on the road fight nights as opposed to the Apex. You should have local talent. That's why you got to have Lerone Murphy. He's English. Luke Wright. I mean, I understand it, but why is it structured like this? Why do we have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys? I mean, I guess 5 with Michael Venom Page because Michael Venom Page is ranked 15 at welterweight now, but Sam Patterson's getting a ranked matchup. Faris Ziam had to damn near beat everybody unranked, and Manuel Torres had to beat a bunch of unranked guys at 155. Sam Patterson gets nuked at 155, moves up, gets a couple wins, and now here we are, ranked matchup against Michael Venom Page, who's like a big name. It's crazy to me. So I'm gonna pick Movsar in this fight. I don't think that Lerone Murphy is dangerous enough or aggressive enough to pull off a win in this fight. So I am going to go with Movsar. And I think we get Movsar versus Volk like December pay-per-view. And then we have Volk fighting like May in the meantime. I'll probably go with Luke Riley, Michael Venom Page. I'll go with Ivo Barnowski. Like, we all know that Austin Lane, especially cutting down to 205, is getting his head knocked into somebody's fucking lap in the third row. And then we have Roman Dolidze, CLD. I'm probably going to go with CLD. Roman Dolidze really, truly sucks at fighting. Curtis Campbell, I'm going to go with him. He's the guy with the weird glasses. I can't remember why. It was from the Ultimate Fighter or Contender Series. I can't remember. I'm going to go with Mason Jones over Axel Sola. I'm probably going to go with Nathaniel Wood by decision. Heavyweight, hard to pick the heavyweight ones. And then who cares? I'm going to go with Shamrock because Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi, punching bag. Antonio Tricoli. I don't even know who Montas Kondratavicius is, but I know he's going to beat Antonio Tricoli because Antonio Tricoli fucking sucks. So there's my thoughts on the UFC London card. I think they did a good main event. There are some good fights featured on the card. Michael Venom Page, CLD, the Losine Kita and Nathaniel Wood fight is sick. I wouldn't be surprised if they rearrange this card before it comes around and that we see Michael Venom Page in the co-main and then we see like Losine Kita and Nathaniel Wood on the main card, but we'll have to see. I think that they structure these this way to get you to watch the whole card. I think they don't want people to look and go, damn, I don't know anybody on the prelims. Let me tune in for the last 5 fights, last 4 fights. I think they do it this way because you go, damn, Shamrock's the second fight of the night. If you're a British fan, you're like, damn, I want to get there and see Shamrock. And then you're like, oh, damn, Mick Parkin with a tough matchup against Mario Pinto. I'm around for that. And then you're like, damn, Losine Kita and Axel Sola and Nathaniel Wood and Mason Jones are all on the prelims. You're like, damn. Also, another thing to consider, we got women's fight right here, and that's it for the whole card. I think we've had, I'm not even lying, like a total of 2 or 3 women's fights this year. There wasn't that many on the last card. I think there was none on the last card and 1 or 2. And this one only has 1. Are we seeing women's MMA get phased out? I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video about that. But great main event, needs to happen, especially if Volk's going to fight somebody else, which I'm sure the UFC wants to get a Silva or like just a big name. Maybe even Sarukian coming down from 55. But I'm not mad at the main event. I'm just mad at the rest of the card. So let me know your thoughts down below. Who do you have winning the main event? And what are your thoughts on this card structure? And it's a Cage Warriors card. So let me know your thoughts down below. Do you want more from Fight Society? Like and subscribe below this video and click the join button to become a channel member today to get access to behind the scenes vlogs and members only live streams.